Okay, hello everyone. This is Tracy DeMario. I am the Superstar Director for the Sun and Bliss family, and tonight we are going to be talking about the Workstation Reporting tab, and we're also going to touch on the BAR report. So first of all, if you have the ability to log into your workstation and kind of follow along, that would be great. If you don't, totally fine. This is recorded. You'll be able to work back through it. And of course, you can always message your upline if you have some more specific questions or need additional assistance. But we're going to start out by going to your workstation and clicking on My Performance. So that's the first thing I'm going to ask for all of you guys to do. And the next thing you're going to see is this part here. Now, there are 5 really important components that we will be talking about also when we're talking about the BAR report here in a minute. But there's 5 things that need to be your primary focus. It's only 4 if you're not a director yet. Okay, so if you're not a director yet, you primarily have 4 areas that you want to be watching every single month. And that's your personal PRV. That's going to be your TWV/GWV. It's going to be the same if you don't have a director yet. Your new recruits and your active frontline. Those are your 4 areas that should always be something you should be striving to beat the previous month. So we always want to be looking at month over month and year over year whenever we're working our reports and looking at our numbers, okay? Very important. That's how we continue to grow in our business and or learn from our business, okay? Both of those things. Out of those 4 things, there's only 2 things you personally can control. That is your PRV, and that, of course, is your new recruits. The other 2 pieces you can play a part in, but you can't personally take responsibility 100% for because you can't do the work for them. But I want you guys to just keep in the back of your mind, those are the 4 things you want to be looking at month over month, year over year, and comparing to better, okay? So now we're going to talk here about what is the difference between a leadership report and a downline report. So the leadership report is going to be all of the consultants within your team and directors of equivalent or lower title, but not their downline. So for example, all of you guys know like Jackie, Amber, Amy, Katrina, Stephanie, I mean, the directors in Sensi, they are a part of my leadership, but anyone that's in their teams is a part of my downline because they're a part of Katrina's leadership, of Stephanie's leadership, of Jackie's leadership. Okay, so if you don't have a director under you yet, then you're just going to have a leadership report. If you were to run your leadership report and then run your downline report, it's going to be identical. This really only goes into play once you have a director. So that's why some of you that have different directors than myself, you never hear from me. You're not going to hear from me because you're not in my leadership or in my stewardship. You're a part of someone else's. Okay, that's the difference. You're all a part of my downline. You're all in my group. But once someone is a director, they take that leadership responsibility and that role to do all the communication, recognition, whatever they want to do with their people. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so here's the first reporting scenario that we're going to do, and you guys can follow along with me here if you'd like. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a one-click report, and we want to make sure, which I thought I had this on here, guess not, maybe that might come down later, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. The reason we want to create these reports and we want to save these reports, which I'm going to show you as well, is you want to celebrate what's currently happening good with your leadership, and you want to highlight what could happen or what's possible based on the reports that you're running. So that's why and how these tools can be so imperative to how you're working your team and your personal business. Okay, so this first one here that we have, and you guys can mimic it, we are going to be looking at frontline consultants. And let's see here. Yep, this is leadership. You can see under the months, it's got months from October to October. So if you want to follow along, go up into where it says from and to, and match that. Switch it back to October, not 2021. I mean, just October to October so that you can do that there. Okay. I want you to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and hit run report. So hopefully everybody got there. Let me see which one is next. Okay, yep, well, see, I got to keep going. October, here we go. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to additional filters. So I want you to click on additional filters, and I want you to put in under the PRV where it's got minimum, maximum. I want you to put minimum 200, maximum 500. I want you then to scroll down. We only want to look at our front line. Front line are people that you personally sponsored or have rolled up to be your level 1. So when you scroll down, and I'm having to do this kind of from memory, and it's habit for me. When you scroll down, you're going to be looking at level, minimum 1, maximum 1. Okay, hopefully everybody's with me. Okay, and we've got that. Okay, so now I want you to click Run Report. Oh, here we go. I forgot I had this screenshot too. So you can see, so you should have put under PRV minimum 200, maximum 500. Under level, you should put minimum 1, maximum 1, Run Report. Okay. Oh, and we're going to do, let's see, we could, if we want to, do join dates as well. It's not necessary in this case, but I want you guys to know how and where that feature comes in handy. There'll be things when I'll be looking at, for example, like the incentive period. Our incentive period, if you have team members that enrolled August 1 through January 31, and they promote to certified and they're your frontline consultants, then you can get 1,000 sponsoring points. So this would be good, for example, to put people who joined August 1. You don't have to put anything in the 2. You can just leave it blank, and you could run report. And now you're going to see your team members that joined August 1 to see who's close to promoting, who has promoted, who do you need to work with to get them promoted. And remember, we put in level 1, minimum, maximum. So that's how you know that you're frontline people. Okay, so that's just a little sidebar thing I wanted to share with you. Okay, we're going to keep going. So we're already done with that. Now we hit Run Report, and now we see the PRB column here. I'm only looking at team members and downline leadership that have that PRB between 200 and 500. Some of you may not have anybody yet, and that's okay. You can look at the screen here, but at least you can kind of got a feel for using the additional filters. Now, something I want to show you that you can do here, which I have found that many people do not realize, is you can, any of these columns that have the little arrow, you can make ascending and descending. So if you look at this one, I'm going to go back. The first one says 274.58, and then 301.30, and then 222. If you click on PRV, click on the words PRV, it's going to resort it. If you click on it again, it'll resort it the other direction, ascending or descending. So if you wanted to see and do a shout out for your team member who has the highest PRV, you would just click on PRV and you could quickly see who has the highest. Some of you are probably saying, okay, I don't even have a team. Why do I need to know this? You don't have a team yet. Some of you are saying, okay, really, I have 3 people on my team. I think I can handle looking at it. Maybe that's the case now, but remember, the goal is to grow. And if we're going to be growing, you're going to have sheets of these people eventually. I know some of you, I don't know who all's on the call tonight, but I remember talking to some of you when the most exciting thing that happened in your business in a long two was when you had page 2, when you ran your reports. That is something to be super excited about. You know, when for a long time you only had the 1 page, and then you get past 50, you get to 51, and now you got a second page. Super exciting. So learning these things now are going to help you. So now we've got this in order. So now you can do some shout outs. You know, you could give a shout out and say, hey, you know, congratulations on being active. This is great. Congratulations on your 463 PRV. While I'm looking at this, I'm also going to notice that this person with 445.90 also has, let's see, they have an active frontline. So that's pretty cool. They're a certified consultant. They personally have 445 PRV. They also have 1 active frontline. So what other conversation might we want to have with that person? How about, you know what? This could be your month to promote to lead consultant. You know, I mean, they've already got the active frontline. They've already got some TWV, their TWV, and GWV is 632. It's very possible, depending on the day of the month, they can make this happen. So that's when I talk about, when I said celebrate what's happening now, giving them a shout out for what you see now, but also highlighting what could happen, what could be. all of these people could hit 500 PRV before the month's end. The people who have team members, they could also be getting their other team members active. The one could promote to lead. So you see where I'm going with this and how you can use this. So now I want to also show you the choose visible columns. I'll tell you what I do. 99% of the time when I'm running any report, I will click on choose visible columns and I remove all. It's just easy for my brain that way. These ones that are purple are by default. They're always going to be in every single report automatically. But most of the time, I could care less about primary state, their join date, lose downline. You know, most of the time, I just don't care about that stuff. And I'll go over the reports that I run regularly a little bit later. But so I do remove all, and then I build the report that I want. I'll put in name. I'll put in PRV. I'll put in lifetime PRV because I want to see who's close to promoting to certified and or any lifetime PRV achievements. I'll put in new recruits so I can celebrate, hey, they got a new team member. You know, I'm going to build the things that I want to see. I don't care what level they are. I don't care what their consultant ID is. You know, that stuff just doesn't matter. I don't care what state they live in. So that's why I build my reports. Okay, but this is just to kind of show you that that exists in case you're not using it. Okay, so this is another example of clicking and unclicking. Okay, so let's see, what was this one? I'm trying to remember here. Okay, so this is a different one here. She's just highlighting, we're highlighting this one that you can see that's highlighted in yellow, just to see if you saw this, if you had a team member and this was their line, what could you find to highlight? So you could give them a celebration. Hey, you're active, congratulations. But what could you also find to highlight them? Well, one of the first things I would be asking is, oh my gosh, congratulations on your 222 PRV. You're already active for the month. This is fantastic. Was that by chance from an open party? Do you have an open party going? And if they say yes, or if they say no, either way, I'm going to say, I want to make sure that you know, anytime you have a $200 open party or a party, a host kit is always a possibility. And I want to teach you and make a habit of not closing out those parties until you found someone to take that kit. Like that's what I would do with someone who had a line that looked like this. I would celebrate them and I would highlight for them what is possible. I would also tell them, hey girl, you are almost halfway to 500, which is a remarkable, fantastic goal. Let's go for it. Let's make it happen. And I would maybe help build a plan on how they could achieve that other 500 PRV. Okay. Okay, here's the next thing that I've found recently a lot of people are not using, and that is the save report feature. So if there are reports that you are using on a consistent basis, you're going to want to save these so that you don't have to rebuild them every single time. And like I said, I will share with you my list of the ones that I do all the time. So if that's helpful to you, great. If it's not, that's okay. You might come up with some other ones that you like to do as well. So I'm going to go on here. At this point, you can export to Excel. I know, again, some of you are going, I have 3 people, don't really need to do that. That's fine, but that won't be forever. So you can export to Excel. You can do your mailing labels this way without having to handwrite things. You could do exporting to Excel by copying and pasting all of the people who did, 200 PRV to 500 PRV if you wanted to give them a shout out, whatever. So this is just something that you need to know that you can do. Okay, here's reporting scenario number 2. Okay, so follow along. Here's what I want you to put in. I want you to build this report with a minimum of 400 PRV, a minimum of 1,500 GWV, and a minimum of 1 active frontline is what I want you to put in. And so what we're looking for here, another thing, especially towards the latter part of the month, although I check it a lot during the month too, but towards the latter part of the month, it's who is close to promoting, who could potentially promote. So right now I'm looking in my downline, and I don't care what level they are, but I'm looking at my downline to say who has the possibility and the potential to promote to star consultant this month. If they've already got 400 minimum PRV and they've already got 1,500 minimum GWV, and they already have 1 active frontline, and it's the 9th, whatever today is, what is today? The 8th of the month. My goodness, a lot of things can happen and they could promote to star consultant. So then you're going to run report. and go ahead and just go through the motions, even though you may not have anybody. That's okay. Just go through the motions with me. Okay. Oops, I guess I screenshot. Oh, I was going to show you this too. So here's another feature that I use a lot as well. And that is you could do specific titles. So remember how I told you the goal was we're looking to see who could promote to star consultant. So I can go into titles over here and I can just click on essential, certified, and lead. Because if I put star consultant, SSC, DQ, whatever else in, that's just more data I have to look at that's irrelevant. Because my goal was to see who is close to promoting or could potentially promote to star consultant. Okay. So I put these 3 things in. Then I'm going to hit run. And in this case, I have one person that came back, and it's someone who happens to be level 2. They're currently a lead consultant. Look at that. They have over 2,000 PRV. They have 1893 in TWV, a team of 2, 1 active frontline, and a new recruit. Okay. So this person, I would have a few things to celebrate. Number 1, oh my gosh, congratulations. You've got over 2,000 PRV. That's a $600 commission at a minimum. Secondly, you've already got 1 active frontline. You are on your way to potentially promoting to star consultant. Do you know what that looks like? Do you know what you need to make that happen? Now, what's the plan to do it? Okay, that's how you have that conversation. Okay, I think this is the same one. Yes, okay. Here, again, you can choose visible columns if you wanted to eliminate some of the stuff, because really, like I said, I don't care what generation they are. I don't care what level they are. You could eliminate some things if you wanted to. Okay, and I already went through what I would celebrate, so I could skip this one. Sorry. And I just like this because it was a great thing to remember. Sometimes you really have to trim down, simplify, and refocus on doing the things that matter most. This is where you find the power in simplicity. And that's Orville Thompson, who is our, well, he's currently serving on mission, but him and Heidi will be back. And we cannot wait to have them back with us in July. And till then, though, I love that because you guys know that I'm very simple in how I do things. It's really easy to get overwhelmed, and it's also easy to overdo. And that's why I want you guys, if you understand how to use these reports effectively, I think you're going to find it's going to be so much simpler for your brain. And by saving these reports and building these saved reports, it's going to save you time. And it just becomes a habit that you start doing this over and over and not having to rebuild it. So really want you guys to learn how to simplify and refocus and do things that are going to matter most, not just to you personally and your personal team, but also to your business as well. Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to see what was this one here. I didn't make notes on this one, so I don't know. May not use that. Let's keep going. I had her send me a whole bunch. Yep, that was the last one. Okay, good. So that is all for this portion. I'm going to really quickly go now to the BAR report. And I'm going to go through this pretty quick. All consultants, I got to find them because that was a little bit farther back. Sorry. I guess I could have put them in an album. That might have made more sense, but you know, I didn't think that far ahead. Okay, let me find them. Where are they? Oh, there we go. Okay. So the BAR report on your workstation, I want you to go to reporting. I want you to go to sales reports. And I want you to click on the BAR report. And go ahead and run yours. Every consultant, regardless of title, has a BAR report. Obviously, if you're not a director yet, you're going to have a lot more data. And the examples that I have that I'm going to be showing you are going to be of director or higher level examples. But that's what she sent me. So that's what I have to work with. So, but you guys will get the ideal here. So hopefully all of you guys have got this and you've got this pulled up and you can see this is going to give you multiple years of data based on how long you've been a consultant. If you're a new consultant, again, you don't have a lot of data yet, but that will change as you and your business do grow. But you'll be able to compare, like I told you, month over month, year over year data. And that is why we talk so much about wanting to make sure that you guys are recording your daily numbers so that you can compare and you can see where you're at and where you're headed and make adjustments as needed to your activities and what you're doing with your tasks personally and your team to ensure that you always beat last year's month and last year's year over year. Okay. So there's 5 areas of focus. We already talked about that. I know earlier I mentioned it as well. And for those of you that are not a director yet, there's going to be the 4. And that is your PRV, TWV/GWV, which will be the same. That is your personal sponsoring and active frontline. These are things that are going to, by focusing on these things, it's going to ensure that you're paid at title consistently and that your business is growing consistently. So I just went over this. So this is just highlighting those 5 areas of focus. Once you are a director or above, then the next 5th area is, of course, first generation directors. Just take a look at this real quick, just to kind of go through this a little bit. And, you know, if I was looking at this and doing a coaching call with this individual who happens to be a star director, and she was like, you know, I don't know, how can I get consistently paid at title? I'm not sure what I need to do. These are some of the things I'd be having the conversations about. I'd be asking, okay, what happened in January versus what happened in December? Why is your personal PRV so significantly different? Because remember, there's only a couple of areas in here that we can personally control, one of which is our PRV. If we choose to take a month vacation, if we choose to say, oh, it's January, I'm not going to do that much, nobody's going to buy Scentsy anyways. If we choose just to go MIA and check out of our business and not do our follow-up for that month or the month before, or the month after, for that matter, a week, I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, it can go fast, then we're going to see that in different areas of our business, one of which is usually affected is our personal PRV. So I would be asking those questions. What are you doing for follow-up? Where did you go? What did you do? What did you not do? If your PRV by the 15th of the month is not at least getting close to what it was the last January, the previous year, then I would be saying, I got to get busy. You know, I got to get to work, and you need to make adjustments on what you're doing to ensure that you beat last January's numbers. So that's just some guide. One of the conversations that I'd be saying, what's your follow-up system look like? I'd be asking all of those type of questions. The other thing I would look at is then I would look at her personal recruiting. This is a significant issue, but I'm going to go down here and say, okay, in September, you had 7. What did you do in September that was different? You know, and maybe she says, oh my gosh, that month I did this event and it was really great. Or I sent out 272 text messages about the host kit, or I don't know, whatever she might tell me. And I'm going to say, well, if you know it worked then, why wouldn't it have worked in January, in February, in March? And some months, I'm going to be real and transparent. Some months you have to do a lot more. I know in May of this year, Dan, on our Superstar Director call, Dan had challenged us to each sponsor 3 team members, which I try to do that every month anyways. But if I'm challenged by Dan Orchard, I'm going to make sure I get it done. I'm going to get it done early. I was like a mad lady out there messaging. I went back so far with past customers, past hosts, people that I'd had conversations about joining that had told me no previously. I mean, I can't even tell you how many messages. I had not in a very long time sent out so many messages, and I was getting, no, I don't think so, not yet, maybe, you know, I wasn't getting yeses. Kept going. And by the end of May, I had secured my 3. And what was really interesting, June and July was just okay for me sponsoring too. But then August, September, October, a lot of those seeds that I had planted back in May when I felt like the world was coming to an end and I'd lost my touch and I was never going to sponsor a new team member again, they've all started growing. So that's another reason why you have to stay consistent and doing the things that we know you need to do. So that's to give you some examples of kind of how you can use this in some of the conversations that I would be having based on the data you see and then I can see. Okay, so that is a very quick version. I will show you too over here, like for leaders, this is really nice too to compare your promotions, because to see, okay, well, I only had 1 person promote to certified in January and I had 3 in February. So what did that look like? How did that happen? Down here we had, this is the fall month, so I would expect to see higher numbers, 7, 9, 5. But see, these promotions are important because here's what we know. When you have 4-star consultants getting paid at title, guess what that means? That means you have director numbers. You're going to be a director and or you're going to be promoting out directors. So these promotions are really important to be paying attention to and be putting focus on and making sure that you are constantly seeing people promoting your business. And if you feel like you're doing all the things right, then you need to be reaching up to your upline and saying, I don't know what's different. What could I do differently to help my people? And just brainstorm to see what things need to look like. So, okay, with that, I am going to stop this recording. I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have additional questions, like I said, reach out to your upline directors, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to assist you. Okay, coming back. Is anybody still here? Let's see. Oh, yay. Okay, there's still people here. Never know. It's always when you can't see people, it's always, oh, it says I'm still recording. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Just kidding. Now I'll have to figure out how to edit it. That'll be